Good morning. Wake up and walk, day 6. It's a little bit after 7 a.m. this morning. I had to leave really early yesterday morning, so it was still dark and pretty rainy. So I just made a short clip later in the day to confirm that I did get the walk in. And I'm still getting in about 10K a day, which is pretty awesome. So I might have to change my walking goals, like for Fitbit, once I get kind of an average what my typical sort of week is here. So we got one more day, right? The rains are in, so we're going from kind of the end of summer into fall, which tends to be pretty short here in Guangdong and the Pearl River Delta. It's not bad, a bit damp, obviously. It's a little bit interchangeable with the humidity, so not quite sure how to dress for it. Like either you're too hot or too cold or whatever. So it takes a little bit of adjusting to it, and normally when you get it figured out, then the weather changes again. So it's about 66 degrees. I've got a sweatshirt on, so I'm a little bit warm. I know that where I'm going is it's going to be like a concrete box, so it'll be kind of damp and moist and cold, but I'll only be there for a few hours. I'm going to see some old friends at the experimental high school. They have an art program there, so they're I always like the funny places that I go to. They always have funny names, like experimental high school. Like, are they experimenting on the students, or a normal university? Like, how normal is it? Just these funny things. They're sort of like transliterated titles to express something in the first language here. But my friends at the experimental high school they're super cool and chill and a bit different because they're in the art program. So I always have a good time when I visit them. Try to kind of keep an eye on my surroundings. This is the first time I've ever done it holding an umbrella. Well, maybe in Thailand. Maybe in Thailand I did probably. So I talked just briefly yesterday about slip hazards. You definitely have to have good footwear to navigate city streets, because it's just sort of uneven for so many reasons, and then sometimes people park on the sidewalks, and usually they're just bricks kind of floating on sand, and nothing's ever sort of permanent in the sense that, you know, they might dig it up later this week or next week, not sure. So I have a tendency to walk on the visually impaired footpath. I find it's a little bit less slippery, but it's a bit tenacious on the ankles. Otherwise, you gotta kind of keep an eye on where you're going and be mindful of your surroundings. It's not uncommon to slip and bust your ass around here. I've done it, trust me. It's kind of part of the job, just trying to minimize the damage as much as possible. But keep going. Yesterday was a super full day, from about 5 a.m. to about 7 p.m., including kind of a long commute out to the suburb district, which wasn't actually too bad in the city. Sorry it's so dark. I kind of wanted to measure it to see if it was practical. And in the morning, I think it probably is. I'm not so sure in the evening. So I'm still a little bit up in the air where I want to land, literally and figuratively. You know, going to be kind of busy the next couple of days, getting out to see people and so forth. But hopefully in the process I get an idea of maybe what's better suited for me and my baby. Looking forward to my wife coming and joining me soon. Always makes for a fun adventure. But it also kind of helps with the sort of the loneliness and isolation that I think a lot of foreigners feel when they come here. I talked to a few yesterday. It was kind of their first time in country. They'd been here probably a couple of months, and you could see that they were, even though they've had some travel experience, that being here for an extended period of time definitely is different. And it sort of can cause a lot of sort of culture shock because of the language barrier. This is the biggest sort of learning and steepest curve. And then after a while, sort of maybe the dynamics of the situation they may be in, whether it's for work or for business, can be pretty isolating. So they've got to come up with different strategies to deal with that. The old hands, you know, they just used to drink a lot and get away with it, you know, like it was an episode of Mad Men. And that, I guess that sort of makes sense, but you're kind of anesthetizing yourself to the actual process. The younger guard, there seems to be an up-and-coming sort of startup generation that's trying to get into this market, and they're, you know, grinding away, hooked on those Gary Vee videos and so forth, hustling, and you got to respect that, but you got to wonder sort of like, you know, how that manifests themselves, how that manifests for themselves, you know, the ability to make it happen. In 10 years of coming here, you know, I've kind of seen different crests and waves of different types of foreigners trying to apply their trade and wares here. So I'm always kind of curious of those that are making it work. And I know quite a few that have stayed in place and have done quite well for themselves. So that's always kind of interesting to see that. Hopefully we can follow up with those guys later. Maybe not here where we'll try to wake up and walk, but try to talk to some people to get a handle on what's going on here. All right, I'm coming up here to the subway exit. I'm actually going to get in the subway this morning and head out for a little bit and then do more walking. The thing I love about being here, for me, it's always about walking. It's my primary mode of transportation. So as long as I stay tight on my nutrition, which right now is about one meal a day in the evening, mostly fat, fiber, protein, and very low on the carbs. So people were like, people that I used to know thought, they weren't quite sure it was me. So that's kind of hopeful. Like when people sort of like don't recognize you, who haven't seen you for a while, that means that's pretty good weight loss. So I'm looking forward to really nailing it in the future. So just keep trying. I hope you keep trying too, whatever it is you're up to, and have a great day. I know I'm going to. Thanks for hanging out for a little bit. So I'm going to take off, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 7. Cheers.